Is the overhead press really worth it? This is something I haven't done genuinely for a year. And in that time, I've made pretty decent progress. It's not something that I needed there. And honestly, when I look back to the progress, not just in strength, but actually building muscle, it was probably the moments where I wasn't overhead pressing that I was building the most. When I used to do that stupid exercise back in the day, I would just be limited by my lower back. I don't know if it was some leftover soreness from doing too much volume with deadlifts and hip hinges, but I just couldn't actually get anywhere with it. I'd constantly be worrying if my form is actually the thing that's limiting me, and I was never actually able to take the muscle to failure or anywhere close to being able to train it well because the form was the problem. And it's not like a form where you can grind and grind and grind, and the issue's like you being lopsided or something like that. The issue was everything else. My entire, kinetic chain. And that begs a question. If we're being limited by this, is it actually a good exercise? If we threw if we hopped on a machine and did shoulder presses there, or we did maybe like something back supported in the squat rack, so we had safety bars too, maybe that would end up being better. And that's exactly what I went out to test. And I started doing a barbell shoulder press in the squat rack. And if you've watched some of my live training videos, you'd notice that I do that all the time. Like it's one of my it's one of my favorite exercises. I absolutely love the ability to just grind and grind and grind, and there's no fear of injury, and there's no fear of actually getting seriously hurt, because that is a genuine fear that I had when I was overhead pressing. I thought something was going to go wrong. And I've heard some people mention that they end up getting soreness with the barbell seated press or whatever. But no, no, no. If you train your external rotators, if you train your rear delts, if you make sure that your shoulder is balanced in terms of strength, it's fine. I have no issues with my shoulders, and it used to be something I actually used to have pain with back when I was doing the overhead press. Now, we can stick to OHP because, it was what the greats used to do. It's tried and true, and it's a staple in everyone's workout routine, but something being a staple doesn't really mean anything. That's true. And I don't know if any of you guys do it, or if any of you guys actually enjoy it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. See, the reason I love overhead pressing, not the OHP as an exercise, the military press, whatever we want to call it, but the reason I love this exercise is because it loads the mid delt incredibly well. And I know some of you guys may be like, oh, but Fletcher, it's based on EMG data. EMG data typically is useless. But there is one time where it actually becomes somewhat useful. And that's when the leverages are, and that's when leverages, and that's when the muscle actually has, and that's when the muscle actually has really good leverage. And not only that is, it's shortened or lengthened in a certain way compared to the other one. So like in an overhead press, the leverage the front delt has is very similar to leverage the mid delt has, and in terms of how long they're lengthened or contracted, it's pretty similar. So we take a look at the EMG data there. We can really work out, what is the muscle that's adducting the arm, and more often than not, it's going to be both of them. And people will be like, "Oh no, it's just lateral raises you need to do." No, overhead pressing will probably be a majority of your side delt work, and that sounds a bit insane. I'm not saying don't do laterals. I'm just saying if you didn't do them, you'd probably end up still getting huge side delts. Overhead pressing is incredible. It really is incredible. But the OHP, what do you guys actually think? That's all I want to know. Just tell me what you think.